Welcome back to Season 4, Episode 10 of T-Dub, where everyone's a sports expert.
The podcast that makes you care about sports, including President Connolly.
We're an original podcast created and produced by Long Beach State's student-run newspaper, the Long Beach Current. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you guys for being here. Today, we got two people very familiar with. Our own sports editor of the Long Beach Current, Ramage, and our fellow sports assistant, Alyssa de la Cruz. Thank you guys for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
Where do we want to start today?
Bruh, it's a sports equinox. It's the best time of year for sports. We got all sports going on. Today is game one of arguably the most anticipated World Series, I feel like, probably in my lifetime, unfortunately. But so we'll get it started with you. You're a Dodger fan. How are you feeling going into tonight's game, into the series in general? Predictions?
Predictions. Let me see. I feel like this series is going to go to 7. I feel that because Yankees have one of the best rotations for starters, but the Dodger bullpen has been killing it recently. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees take it, and as a Dodger fan, I'm all right with it. I'm all right if Yankees take the series, honestly. I'm going to be real.
Really?
And
Why?
The reason for
That's
that...
crazy.
The reason for that is... Okay, I'm going to just say this, okay? The Dodgers, bro, I don't know how they made it this far with, like, the injuries that we've had. I'm like, okay, maybe it's just our lucky year, and then people are just going to be talking about us again. They'll be like, oh, Mickey Mouse run again, once again. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Yankees take it, so I'm like, you know what? Yankees take it. I'm not going to be like a hater and be like, oh, I'm upset. Like, it's just the series, you know what I mean?
As big of a Dodger hater as I am, I think if I was a betting person, I would put money on the Dodgers. I think the Yankees can. I think the key to the series is if Judge heats up, because he's hit like 174 through the playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing. If he heats up, Stanton keeps hitting the ball, Soto does his thing, and the rest of the guys show up, I think the Yankees can win. But the Dodgers bullpen has come out of nowhere in the postseason, which I thought that was going to be kind of their Achilles heel. So honestly, I think the Dodgers, but I mean, I hope the Yankees pull it off in 7 games.
But like I just saw, like, you know, the roster came out for, you know, the 26-man roster. Evan Phillips is not in it. That kind of hurts, like really hurts. Like, he was our backbone. Like, as soon as the starter would take out, it would be Evan Phillips. He's out. He has, like, I guess, an injury with his arm or his shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. And then Miguel Rojas is on the roster. Okay.
Triple play.
Okay, Miguel Rojas is on the roster.
I love Miguel Rojas.
Be for real. And Kevin's out. And I'm like, okay, I'd rather have Kevin over Miguel. Miguel's like, bro, get this man off the team. Get this man off the team, please. Like, he's so, like, I get it. Like, hype man, get it. But as a player, I'm over it. I'm over this season. I need him out.
He's not going to play, though, right? He barely played in the CS.
You think he's not going to play, but Dave Roberts has very questionable, you know.
But Dave Roberts has managed this World Series really well.
Yeah, because Miguel Rojas hasn't been on the roster.
You think he's the sole reason they're this far because they haven't been playing him?
Yes. Actually, yes. Because, he has been, like, you know, like, putting in the bullpen. Like, he has been putting, like, smart plays, but at the same time, I'm like, just keep the same lineup that has been winning us these games, if you know what I mean.
I know Evan Phillips is off the roster, but, like, don't you think getting Vesia back's a lot bigger?
Yeah, that one is a lot bigger, yeah. But at the same time, what happens if he aggravates his injury in this series?
Throw him till he dies.
That's the Soto stopper.
Yeah.
Vesia is going to be the Soto stopper, I think.
I mean, realistically, I know you said you don't care if they lose, but don't you sense, like, a window?
I do, but as a, like, you know, as a Dodger fan, bro, we've been upset so many times, like first rounders or second rounds. I'm like, do I even have hope for this World Series? Yes, I do. Because, you know, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, we got this. But then in reality, I'm like, these are the Dodgers, bro.
You guys cannot play the victim, though. You guys literally have 3 MVP. You guys have Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts,
the reason.
MVPs in what? Last year, this year, going back 2 years ago, Ohtani. Freeman won the year before. Betts won 2 years prior. Like, come on.
Yeah, we can't play the victims, but we do all the time. So
the biggest player I miss from the postseason, not having in the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw. Man, I miss that guy. My favorite Dodger of all time. Every year, I love when he puts his hands on his knees.
It's a classic. I've seen it all the time.
Postseason tradition, October, trick or treating. Pumpkin carving, Clayton Kershaw choking in the playoffs.
Maybe he's the reason why we're winning. Maybe
Probably.
he's the reason. Maybe he's the reason.
He could be.
Who do you guys think the MLB wants to win this series?
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
100%.
I think it's the Dodgers too.
Yeah.
I think the Ohtani glaze
Yeah.
trumps the Judge.
As much as
and
Judge,
Yankee brand.
as much as Judge is a golden boy, Ohtani is a next
because
level.
Ohtani's
Yeah.
international.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
And I understand it. It's great marketing for the MLB, but they need the Dodgers to win.
I agree it's the Dodgers, but I really do think it's a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, no, it's close.
Yeah,
It's close.
I mean, like the Yankees haven't won since
yeah,
2009, right?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nine.
And then what? Judge, no World Series yet.
Yeah.
That's like his biggest knock. Can't play in the postseason. So you knock that out, you have a player who's going to be like generational even more than he already is. And it's the East Coast,
Yeah.
East Coast bias. So
No, the Dodger bias is way more.
I think it's a win-win for the MLB.
I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
win-win
Yeah.
for like
It's a
marketing. Like I
win-win.
just saw like on Twitter, like they're marketing in London. Like who would have thought? You know, it's like you would expect just the U.S. and Japan, but like it's all the way in London, the U.K. That's crazy. But
Yeah. The MLB could easily pivot because for a few years from like 2017-ish, 2019, they'd give Mike Trout the GOAT emoji on their post. They could easily pivot to just start calling Ohtani the GOAT if he wins the World Series in
Yeah.
his first year with the Dodgers.
I wouldn't blame it either. He deserves it.
A lot of pump and circumstance for a DH, but whatever.
Well, he's not a DH. This year he's a DH.
This year he's a
but-
DH, but
glorified DH. Will he pitch again?
I wanted Dave Roberts to pull a prank and say Ohtani had a chance of pitching in the World Series and then just never pitch him, just
I
to
saw
see the
that-
media frenzy.
I saw this thing. It was like if Ohtani came up to Dave Roberts during the World Series and was like, "I want to pitch," would you let him? If you're Dave Roberts,
That's tough.
I think if it goes to Game 7 and Ohtani asks, I think Dave Roberts would say. I think he would say yes. I like for one inning. I think he'd be like, okay, sure.
you're gonna let him
No.
debut pitching.
Yeah, he hasn't
in Game
pitched
7
in a
of the
low
World
key,
year.
low
Series.
key. I don't know.
I thought the Mets pitching Senga in the playoffs
Made no sense.
Made
Yeah,
no
Yeah,
that
that
made
made
sense.
no
no
sense.
sense.
The game was
And-
already like what 6-2.
Yeah, and that was the wild card round, I think.
Well,
So-
they threw him the first time and then they threw him again.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why the second
yeah,
time around?
Yeah. So pitching Ohtani in Game 7 of the World Series
Because we remember the World Baseball
preposterous.
Classic, ninth inning, he comes out and faces Mike Trout
Yeah.
to end it.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not gonna happen.
Maybe
But
I could see maybe giving him an inning, but no,
Nah.
no.
If it's a blowout, do you throw him in?
No, there's no
No.
at that point.
No,
There's no
no, no,
point.
no,
There's
no,
no
no,
point.
no, no,
It'd be
no.
cool, but there's no point.
from the baseball field to the hardwood, talking WNBA now, just wrapped up 5-game series that went into overtime. Game 5. You were there from the beginning of the WNBA season, covering games in the Walter Pyramid. Covered the Caitlin Clark game
Shout out.
in the Staples Center. I'm gonna call it that. Yeah. Talk about that series. I know Sabrina's last game. That was pretty rough. What'd you go, like 3 for 19 overall?
You know,
She had a 3 at the end.
Sabrina,
in
the whole
fourth.
series was very disappointing. Very disappointing. I thought she would have done way better than she did. But at the same time, Minnesota has a great defense. Very great defense. So covering her was like very huge. It's Minnesota, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep, the
yeah,
Lynx.
it's Minnesota, yeah. So that was very huge. But her going 1 for 19 or 1 for 20, that is like
Game
like-
7, 2016 Steph
Yeah.
performance right there,
like the-
Kershaw
unfortunately.
performance.
Yeah.
you're like the queen of 3-pointers, and you're going like hello. But so I thought that Minnesota was gonna take it. I mean, there was like the last call. I think that they called the foul or something.
Yeah, that was a good
that was
question.
Yeah.
that was very questionable. So seeing that, I was like, okay, then maybe Liberty deserves it, right? They deserve it. But seeing her from like the whole season, she didn't impress me. The whole season, the whole regular season, she didn't really impress me. And then I was like, she played against the Sparks as well. You would think that she would, have a game record like points at that game. Nothing, no show out. And so I'm like, okay, well, so I was very disappointed with her.
You think
I think-
Caitlin Clark stole her thunder this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Point guard, shoot threes.
No one in the WNBA could never knock Caitlin
Yeah,
Clark,
no,
though.
she's top.
She's just
She literally got
she's
them
just the face.
private planes.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's just the face of women's basketball.
Yeah.
Even though she's a rookie, she's been the face of it since college. So it's just
It's not Angel Reese. You sure? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
very debatable, very debatable. But I mean, they're both great. They're both great. Like, don't you can't compare them, but I mean, you can at the same time. But I would prefer Caitlin Clark over Angel Reese.
They're both great for women's basketball.
For great, yeah, they
Undeniably.
ever since college, that rivalry. I mean, even though they said they're like, there's no beef between us in the media. Just
oh,
because
come on.
there's beef. And I'm like,
Come on.
no way.
Let's be
But
real.
I mean, that was probably the most watched, like,
Mhm.
college
I
game
think it
ever.
was.
Yeah.
I think it literally
LSU and
was.
Iowa. That was
Even the women's basketball college finals at the end were
Yeah.
Yeah, because
more
they met in the
rated than-
semifinal, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
semifinals. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was, but Caitlin Clark right now, I would prefer her over Sabrina. So
I'm going to go on the record right now and say at this time next year, the Golden State Valkyries in their inaugural season will be the 2025 WNBA champions. I'll be there, Chase Center, San Francisco. It's going to be great. Yeah, and I'm going to say Sabrina comes to the Valkyries at some point in her career. She's from the Bay Area. She's a Warriors fan, grew up a Steph fan, so it'll happen.
It's bold.
Just throwing that out there so when it happens, we can come back to this video.
Clip it. Clip
ship
it.
and
Clip
ship
it.
Yep. From the women's game to the men's game. We had the opening week of the NBA. You're a Lakers fan. Big opening night storyline. We talk about this is the second time we've talked about Bronny on the
James.
show. He made his debut with his father on the court as a Laker fan. We asked Gianna last time. She's not a LeBron fan or a Bronny fan, but
Really?
what were your thoughts on his debut?
On his debut, let's see. I was super happy for him, super happy, for the James family. That's an accomplishment, historical moment to play with your dad. But at the same time, is this man ready to play in the NBA?
It's forced.
It is way forced. He got drafted. I've said this, you're only getting drafted because of the name. So I'm very, hello? Is this man, does he deserve the spot that he has on the team? No. But he has it because of his dad. But historical moment, you'll never see it ever again, probably. Who knows?
I think we can eventually. I mean, it's happened in other sports, but it just has to, all things have to line up
So
with
rare.
when you have the kid,
so
Yeah.
how good you are,
Yeah.
how good the kid is. I
Yeah.
mean, we saw it with Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken
Yeah.
Griffey Sr. who were at the game, and that's a whole different thing. I think it's a bit of a disrespect to them almost because, I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., generational talent, and his dad was actually good.
Yeah.
So for them to line up and be on the same team is a whole different thing than Bronny and LeBron. I saw this thing the other day. It was Bronny realistically should either be at USC and be the 5th best player on the team, or should be at UC Irvine and be the 2nd best player on the team.
That would be cool. That would
Big
be
West, that would be fun. But
In the Big West.
I had a friend call me after the game and say, Bronny James almost made a shot. That is absurd.
he had
The
an
fact
open
that-
look. That's what
No,
he
he
brought
did,
up.
yeah.
The fact
he
that
did.
we are calling people to say Bronny James almost made a shot.
It was a nice open look.
That is what the media has done
Yeah,
to us
it
with
was.
Bronny James. It's awful.
But what I mean, he played 5 minutes, less than 5?
3.
Yeah, 3
Yeah,
Lakers
at the
won.
end of the second.
He
yeah.
wasn't playing in garbage time either. It was mid-second quarter.
Yeah, it
they were
was-
up 10,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
Undefeated in the Bronny James era.
you had a stat you
Yeah.
wanted to bring up about
I don't
another.
watch basketball. I don't care about basketball, but I have 2 things to highlight. LeBron and Bronny, highest scoring father-son duo, NBA history. Book it. It's already confirmed. But the other thing just involving nepotism, Bronny James at USC led Thanasis and Kostas Antetokounmpo when they played in Europe in total rebounds, assists, and steals during their time playing. So
Really?
who's the real nepo babies?
Interesting. I
Yeah.
think I saw this argument that said Thanasis was better than Bronny ever will be. I think I agree with that because Thanasis got drafted on his own merit. By the
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
he got drafted, I think, by the Knicks. It wasn't the Bucks.
Mhm.
Bronny got drafted to his dad's team. So
Hey, stats don't lie.
and Thanasis
just don't
was
look
a
at the
good player.
points.
I
Don't
think
look
he's
at
out
the
of the
points.
NBA, but yeah, don't look at the play.
Right down the street from where you live, the newest stadium in the NBA, the Intuit Dome. Clippers and Suns played their opening night. Have you guys seen the wall?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
As a soccer fans,
Mhm.
Steve Ballmer said he modeled it after Dortmund's wall. I don't know if you saw that.
The yellow wall.
Yeah, the yellow wall.
They told me I should
We
start
did.
liking it.
We told Maddie he needs to become a
Black and
Dortmund
yellow.
fan.
That's funny. Yeah. I just think it's fantastic. I mean, you watch all these soccer games and the crowd is just nothing like you'll ever see. So implementing that into the NBA and having to make teams shoot free throws on that, I think it's a great idea. And I saw you have to cheer or they kick you out. You wear a wristband that can tell how loud you cheer and you can win prizes. It's fantastic.
That's actually so
There's
sick.
incentives to cheer. You have to stand the whole time. It's amazing.
It's very high tech. It's very
Yeah.
new, which I think is cool. I think the biggest thing for me, obviously, I'm not a Clippers fan. I don't think the Clippers are going to win a lot of games in that stadium this year, but that's a different conversation. But I think the coolest thing for me is I heard that it's basically kind of like first come, first serve. So the closest you could sit is the third row, and then it just goes up. It's not really I'm paying for this seat in this part of the wall. It's kind of just You show up,
Yeah.
and that's how it is. For me, I'm someone who loves going to games super early. Like, I'll go to Warriors games. I'll go like 6 hours before, so I'm the first one in the.
Get a life,
Oh my
God.
God.
damn.
Oh my
I'm just kidding.
Hey. And another thing, like one of the biggest things when I go to a sporting event or something, especially when I was like little, I love going to games pre-game just to watch warm-ups and stuff.
That
Like
is
just
cool.
going to
That is
warm-ups,
cool.
batting practice, whatever. And I hate when stadiums push you, like you can't go down to a certain level.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be like once you go in the stadium, you should be go to the dugout, go to wherever you can. Like obviously maybe not courtside, but like go down to the tunnel where they come out. For me, I love that. I think what the Clippers did was great. First ever NBA game I went to. I'm 9 years old, sitting in the very top of the nosebleeds. Steph Curry is warming up. It's 2013, so pre-Steph Curry All-Star, and the security guard, because no one else was going down there when he was doing warm-ups or anything. Best sports memory, best moment of my life, maybe. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. Nobody was down there. Security guard, before they had rules, before there would be mobs of people, they let me down there. First game, got his autograph. Very special.
Fantastic.
It was a beautiful moment. And
what did he sign?
he signed an ugly Warriors hat because it was the only Warriors hat they had at the mall at the time because it was before they were good.
Yeah.
It was an ugly hat, but I got it signed.
At least it's signed.
It's true.
Yeah, it was.
But I didn't know that they were if you don't yell loud enough, you get kicked
Yeah,
out. I think
yeah.
That's cool, too.
That's a good thing.
You also have to
because,
pass a quiz before, like, to get a seat.
Because they
there.
only want Clippers fans sitting there.
You have to pass a
that's
Clippers
good.
quiz. I mean, you could probably just look
That's
up
valid.
the answers, but
I love that, honestly.
Chat GPT the quiz and get in the wall.
No,
but-
lockdown browser. You can't cheat on the quiz. That's
Proctored.
awesome. Yes, video recording. Yep. It's just like a bar test.
That's a good thing because, it's a new stadium and a lot of people just want to go to the game just to say that they've been to a game or they've been to the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, I know a couple people that are like, oh, I just went to the game. I was like, okay, name 5 people on the team. And they'll be like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, that's a good one, though.
Yeah.
Get out if you're not loud enough.
I think it's great.
Get rid of the bandwagons. Not to bring up the Warriors again, but man, hate bandwagon fans. Hate it. I'd be pressing kids in like 6th grade, like name 5 role players. Name 5 players pre-2010.
Did you see the way they do their T-shirt cannons?
Yeah, that was sick. I saw it, too.
That was sick.
What was it?
It's like on the screen, just a player shooting, and then
Oh,
the
that's
T-shirt's
cool.
flying
Yeah.
out.
Comes out,
Throwing
yeah.
from the
That's
top of the
cool.
scoreboard.
If it was last year, Russell Westbrook would have missed the entire stadium.
Oh, my God.
Westbrook. Yep. It's a nickname. Get over it. But yeah, moving on to a player making his debut. My second favorite athlete of all time. I got Klay Thompson socks on right now. Splash Bro socks. He made his debut last night with the Mavericks. He looked pretty good.
Yeah.
6 3-pointers, 22 points. You guys think Klay will help the Mavericks? Do you think he will be serviceable enough?
I think so.
There's been a lot of slander on the internet.
Yeah. Luka said it last night. It's an automatic assist. With Luka's playmaking, they just need to surround him with shooters. And I mean, is there a better shooter to surround him with than Klay Thompson?
I think it's a good breakup for both teams, honestly. He played with a lot of frustration the last couple of years, and it was obvious. Steph Curry made a comment after the first Warriors game, and it wasn't directly at Klay, but it was like there's healthy egos on the team. Like if you have an off night, you're not going to bring the team down.
Yeah.
And that was most likely directed at Klay, unfortunately. But I think both teams, I think it's good for both teams. I think the Warriors got a lot deeper this year.
Mm-hmm.
Played the Blazers in the first game of the year.
Yeah. I had hope.
Won by 35 points.
Yeah. I had hope for a quarter, and then after that, I lost all hope for the season. So.
Honestly, we played so bad in the first quarter,
We did.
and the fact that it was tied, I was like, all right, I
Yeah.
think we're going to be good this year.
And then Buddy Hield turned into prime Klay Thompson. And
Buddy Hield has made the most threes since coming into the NBA.
And really?
Since his rival.
More than Steph?
Yeah, more than Steph.
Wow.
Unknown fact,
Good
but
stat, yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good fit. I think the Warriors will be better this year. So.
I think they'll go as far as Kuminga goes as their second star.
Yeah, I think Kuminga's got to take that jump into like stardom so he could get that contract.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
Yeah.
playing
If
for a
he can
contract.
take that jump, or if Buddy Hield just turns into the best 6th man in the league, which I think having him come off the bench is really good. I think DeAnthony Melton starting is a good defensive tone setter. And then, Pajemski, he's all rookie first team last year. And if Andrew Wiggins can return to form, because we need a second All-Star.
Yeah.
You can't win in the NBA.
It could be Kuminga.
Yeah.
I think Kuminga has a higher chance than Wiggs does.
I want it to be Kuminga because, I mean, he's only like 21 years old. But I think if Andrew Wiggins, he played good the other night.
I think we've been saying that for years, though, hoping that he comes back to prime Wiggs. And he never does.
He was an all-star.
That was BS, and you know it was BS.
Bruh.
That was BS.
He was the second best. He outplayed Jason Tatum in the finals that year, though.
He should not have been an all-star starter.
All right, maybe not a starter.
No, I don't even know if
he wasn't a starter,
all-star.
or he ended up starting because someone got hurt. Yeah, he should not have been an all-star starter.
It's fan voting.
Remember
when the Royals all made the all-star team? It's all fan voting.
Yes. But he played like an all-star that year. He's shooting like 40% from three. He was averaging 20 points.
All right. Well, he dropped off the year after that. So.
He did, because he took like a random 3-month leave of absence.
I remember that. Yeah.
And since then, he hasn't been the same, but I don't know.
Speaking on Wiggins, speaking on the Mavs San Antonio Spurs game, I have another little nugget. Victor Wembanyama yesterday, worst field goal percentage from a Rookie of the Year in the first game of his sophomore season since 2016. Wemby shot 27.8. The player that year in 2016, Andrew Wiggins. Shot 20%.
Maple Jordan.
Yeah, Wemby was awful last night. Derek Lively had his number. He was awful last night.
They got CP0 rings on the team. Only Chris Paul can make the Warriors miss the playoffs.
Bro, that team is cursed now. That team is cursed.
No, I think Paul and Wemby are going to be really good together. I mean, you could see his frustration when they don't throw him the ball, and that's all Chris Paul wants to do. So
I think the West is just so stacked, though.
It is.
It's going to be impossible. I think, not to throw a stray at you, but I think the Trailblazers is like the only bad team in the West. I've heard people say the Trailblazers aren't going to be as bad this year.
No, it won't be.
I mean, it's only the first game of the year, but
on paper we got better, so we should be better. Denny Avdia, everybody's a little bit older. Scoot's playing better. Scoot had like 23 in the first game. Nobody seems to care. They only care on Twitter when he does bad.
How many of those points were during garbage time, though?
Not as many as you'd think. He shot awful from the field, but he had 23 points.
All right, but it's not the fact that the Blazers are like just awful. It's just someone's got to be last.
That's true.
Yeah,
and I think they're the worst.
Yeah, and we're not going to beat the Nuggets every week and the Timberwolves, and it's just
Okay, well, if you have them at the last, who do you have at the top?
OKC.
After last night,
only makes sense. Yeah.
OKC, Denver, Dallas. I think
Minnesota.
The Warriors. The thing about the Warriors, I think they could like honestly sneak into like a top 4 seed, like be right at number 4. They lost. Or they won 2 more games last year than they did the year before. The year before, they were the 6th seed in the Western Conference. And last year, they were the 10th seed.
Yeah.
Draymond Green missed 17 games due to suspension. If he doesn't miss 17 games, we win a few more games. The gap between the 10 seed and the 6th seed, or even the 4 seed, is so small that it's only a difference of a few games. And I think we're better this year. So I think the Warriors have the potential to, but I also think the bottom is, I mean, they could slip to 12. Like, who knows? Yeah. So,
I mean, the only problem that I have with OKC is just that team is the youngest team in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like experience wins you playoff games.
Yeah. They added Caruso, though. They added Hartenstein.
Yeah. So having these new additions, I do see them making far, but I don't know if as far to the finals. I don't know. I think if they play the Nuggets, I think the Nuggets take them in the playoffs.
I think they're just going to keep progressing, though, as their players keep progressing.
It's just a hit or miss, I would say.
As an optimistic Warriors game, 1 game into the season, I want to believe that the Thunder will lose in like the second round this year. They lost in the first round. They got to lose a couple years in the playoffs before they get over the hump. So if I'm thinking that, all right, Thunder lose second round, Nuggets, I think we could beat the Nuggets, honestly. Draymond Green plays...
What?
Really?
I don't think it's impossible. I think they're not as deep as they were when they won the finals 2 years ago. I think last year they took a step down slightly just because they lost some of those role players, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green. They lost some of those guys. And I think this year, I mean, like I said, I think the Warriors are better. I think Draymond Green defends Jokic really well throughout his career.
You think Trace Jackson Davis is going to guard Jokic in a 7-game series?
No, it'll be Draymond.
I think he'll pick Draymond apart.
Yeah, I think he will.
In the playoffs?
Yeah. I think he'll still get his numbers, but I think Draymond is one of the better defenders on Jokic. If you look at his stats, like, honestly, like, they're not that bad against Jokic throughout his career. And the Mavericks, I mean, sadly, I don't want to really bet on Klay Thompson at this stage of his career. He's a little inconsistent, but I don't know.
They'll go as far as their role players go. Josh Green, Derek Lively. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Steph Curry fills his hand this year. 5 rings, passes Magic, becomes a top.
What in the?
Yep. That's a really bold statement.
You just come on here and make claims about your favorite
He is a
teams.
claims guy.
Yeah.
He's a claims guy.
Hey, hot takes sell. Look at Colin Cowherd.
That's true.
Why is that guy famous?
Why is
I
that?
don't know.
Why is Nick Wright famous?
How does he have
Oh
his
my
own
gosh.
show? I don't know.
See? Anyway, moving on. Talking about more aging stars in the NBA. Steph's in year 16. KD's in year 18, I think.
Dang.
LeBron's in year 22. Is this a year, do you guys think they take some steps down?
I don't.
How long do they keep going? I mean, they're just if LeBron was in the league, Steph Curry and KD would be like an anomaly. Like,
Yeah.
are they still
Yeah.
doing this? But all 3 of them are still performing at an all
I mean,
NBA level.
Yeah, they're all still all NBA. I don't think they take a step, not too much of a step down. I mean, their numbers will probably drop a little bit, but they're still going to be able to play for 3-4 more years. Maybe not LeBron. Maybe LeBron has 2 left, but they could still go. KD's still KD. Steph's still Steph. LeBron's still LeBron. I don't see what's stopping them besides if they just decide to retire.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers that they're putting up still in like year 22,
Mhm.
18 is like, who's doing it like them, you know? You saw them in the Olympics and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know? Playing
Mhm.
against like international teams, they're putting up numbers still. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's crazy.
And they were still the top guys on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Jason Tatum, who was
On the
bench.
On the bench,
Oh, that
DNP.
is-
Yeah. Jaylen Brown not even on the team. Yeah.
Talking about the Celtics, what do you think is it 19? Right?
Banner 19.
Banner 19?
They're the easy choice to like.
They're
if I
so
was-
good. They're so good.
I think I saw this comparison too, saying that it's almost like there's a lot of similarities with like when the Warriors won in 2015, and a lot of people said like, oh, it was an easy run, like Kyrie and Kevin Love were hurt, and then they heard about it all summer, and then Jason Tatum got benched, Jaylen Brown didn't even make the
it.
U.S.
Didn't make
roster. So it's almost like they're on their own little revenge tour, and I
For
think
sure.
they're better. And I mean, the Warriors won 73 games the next year. Steph won unanimous MVP. So there's similarities with that team. I mean, yeah, they're the easy choice. I hope the Knicks could knock them out because the Knicks are fun. New York's fun to root for.
They just lost by
Yankees
30.
in 7.
Yeah.
They just beat them by 30.
I know.
I mean, they have what? They have
We're one
Towns-
game into the season. We're not gonna.
They have Towns on the team. I just think there's no chemistry yet. Like they
Yeah.
were really like,
The Knicks?
the Knicks. There's no chem there yet, and it's just they just have to build up again. You know?
Because who do you think the biggest threats are? I think Minnesota last year looked really good, and I felt like they could have taken that step this
Yeah.
year, but then they traded Karl Anthony
Yeah.
Towns. I
That-
feel like that's another thing about the West. Like I said, like the Nuggets, I think OKC's too young. I think the Nuggets are beatable. I think the Timberwolves took a step back, trading Karl Anthony Towns. So
Yeah, I don't know why Randall had 33 efficiently last night, but I don't know why they did that. That just puzzled me because
Yeah.
everything seemed like it was fitting well. Cat was happy. They made it to the Western Conference
Exactly.
Finals. Like,
that was like the best season in their
Yeah.
team's
Yeah.
history,
Yeah.
and then you want to keep going forward.
it was
I don't know.
weird.
As soon as I saw it on social media, I was like, this is a lie. This is a troll.
I
Yeah,
know.
because it's not like Randall does anything a lot better than Cat did. Cat's a better
He just
shooter,
he doesn't
rebounder.
space
Yeah.
the floor as much.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not as good as Karl Anthony Towns.
It's interesting, but we'll see. I think the Celtics are the biggest threat by far. They just hit what 29 threes.
No, who do you think the biggest threat to the Celtics
Oh,
is?
the Nuggets.
The Nuggets?
Like she said, OKC's too young. Minnesota, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they'll develop the
I would
chemistry.
pick the Nuggets over the Warriors too in a 7-game series right now. But I'm just saying that I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that
Yeah.
Steph can do something with this team, can make it take a jump. But not that delusional to where I think the Nuggets are not
Yeah.
as good. But
I mean, Nuggets, Celtics finals.
I don't want to see that.
It might happen though.
It might happen.
I thought that was going to happen last year though. So
True.
Celtics versus somebody. We can
who do
say
you think
that.
the biggest threat to the Celtics are in the Eastern Conference?
The Knicks.
The Knicks?
The Knicks. I think so.
Yeah, that's
if they
it.
can figure it out with Cat, I think they got better. They didn't
Yeah,
even have
I
Randall
think-
last year.
yeah.
Or for the playoffs and a
Mhm.
lot of them regular season. So I think it's the Knicks.
In the 76ers, I don't
No.
see. No.
Paul George is already. I think Paul George and Embiid will play less than 20 games together.
Yeah, they're not gonna. It's gonna. Yeah,
They're too injury prone.
it's
both
like
of
this.
them.
It's gonna be like the Suns. Beal, Booker, KD never played all three
Yeah.
together.
Or even the Clippers.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
next version of the Clippers.
Yeah, it's gonna be just like that. But the Knicks, they got better. Losing DiVincenzo hurts,
Yeah.
but they get
Mhm.
Mikal Bridges. Mitchell Robinson's injured, but he'll be back.
You had the Villanova Knicks. You had
Yeah, I don't know.
chemistry at an all
They
That's
time.
what- yeah,
did
that's what I
that
don't
purposely
understand,
and then traded him
Yeah.
away.
I know.
That's
And
what I
Mikhail
understand.
doesn't. One game into the season,
He
but
hit 2
he's
threes.
got a funky jumper,
He hit 2 threes. It looked weird, but he hit 2 threes.
and he's still gonna guard at an all defensive
Yeah,
level. So I mean, I like Bridges, but it'll be interesting for sure. I think this is. I said it last time, so this isn't an initial hot take, but I think this is last year for Giannis in Milwaukee. I think.
Oh yeah, you said he's a Warrior.
Yeah, I think
Oh
so.
my God.
Oh my. Okay.
This guy just comes on here and
Just
All
spouts
right.
Warriors.
builds a
nonsense.
fantasy
All right.
team.
Okay. Out of my hot takes, I think Giannis to the Warriors is more realistic than the Warriors winning the finals this year. Because, all right, hear me out.
Who gave this guy a podcast?
Hear me
He
out.
just does it.
Hear me out. Giannis doesn't. The Bucks have only made it past the second round. I think, yeah, just once since they've won the finals in
Sounds
2021. That's 4 years removed. I don't think Doc Rivers. I think it's an old roster. He's already won a title in Milwaukee before. I think the Warriors are in need of someone big to land. Like, we need a second star. We need someone to help Steph. Steph Curry's still in his prime of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it. He played that way in the Olympics. He was the guy. So, I don't know.
You'd have to trade Kuminga.
Bro, get rid of Kuminga.
I've just sign him and trade him to make the money match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully he plays good this year, so it's more appealing. But I've been saying it since 2022 before we won the finals. Trade these young guys. Trade James Wiseman. I wish we would have traded him when he had some value
Yeah.
for Miles Turner
He
or
just
something.
tore his Achilles too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think ankle maybe.
Young guys don't win. Help you in the playoffs. You
true.
win with stars.
That's true.
So
But to the Warriors?
yes,
Doesn't he love Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Like he
think
literally
so.
walks through the
Yeah.
streets there.
Yeah, he
Just
is
walks-
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
yeah.
he's already won though once.
But I don't
He's
see him
wasting.
leaving.
He's wasting prime years. They already tried to help him get Dame. I mean, it's only been 1 year into that, and they both kind of got hurt in the first round
Yeah.
last year.
That's how the NBA
The
works
roster's
now.
just
Yeah.
old. I feel like
Yeah.
Steph and Giannis kind of friends.
But I think he's just too loyal to Milwaukee.
I think he wants to win more
Yeah,
than that
I think
though.
yeah.
I think he'll jump.
If
Players just jump
if he
ship.
didn't win a championship already, I think no way.
Oh, he'd be
would
gone
leave,
for
but
sure.
Yeah, he would have been
Like I
gone 2
said,
seasons ago.
If they don't, let's say they don't even make it past the second round this year. That's 4 years removed of his prime of his career. He won the chip at, I think, like 25 years old, 25, 26. You just wasted age 25 through 30 not winning anything.
I could see it both ways, but that's how the NBA is. Players jump ship all the time to try and win championships, especially star players.
Mhm.
So I could see him leaving. I could also see him pulling a Dame Mike Trout and just staying and trying to stick
Yeah.
it through. I mean, Dame eventually left past his prime, which he might regret. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It could go both ways.
Have you ever noticed international players, specifically overseas, also tended to stay with one team?
No, I didn't notice that.
Mm-mm.
I don't really
Like,
pay attention
yeah.
to
Ichiro
overseas.
never left the Mariners until the end. He
Oh,
stayed
yeah,
out
true,
the whole
yeah.
time.
Oh, I
Hideki
see what you
Matsui.
mean. Okay, yeah.
Dirk stayed with the Mavericks.
Dirk.
Over in hockey,
Luka
Alexander
being the same way.
Ovechkin.
Washington, all those
Yeah.
years, yeah.
But I think they just do that because that team is the one that drafted them. If you know what
Exactly.
I mean. They're just like,
It's
I'm
like
just
where
gonna stay.
you
I'm gonna stay loyal to the team.
Became
forever.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Less willingness to jump ship and leave to,
The
I
West
think so.
Coast.
LA, New York.
LA, yeah.
Unless you're Otani.
Unless you're on
I mean,
Johnny.
he stayed in his
Yeah, he didn't
backyard.
go very
He didn't
far.
go far. He didn't go
Yeah.
far. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, he's gonna go to Toronto. Why would he go all the way over there?
Toronto's a nice city.
Yeah,
went
but
there
it's
this
like
summer.
LA's
Liked
closer
it.
to
It's
Japan.
kinda
He goes to
cold.
Japan like in the off season, you know? It's like, why is he gonna go far from his home?
Should have went to Seattle or San Francisco.
Can't play in the cold.
Can't play in the goal. I've heard that.
Can't pitch in the cold. It's like a known fact.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're down to one camera. So I think it's time to wrap it up here for us.
Where's the Blue Jay? Show the Blue
No,
Jay.
he's going to do the Blue Jay.
Okay. Thank you.
There's going to be a Blue Jay playing basketball, eating popcorn. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for
thank you.
joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us for Season 4, Episode 10 of Teed Up. Thank you to our video editor and producer, Aiden Swanepoel. and our multimedia producer, Elle Nicklin, and captions by Junior Contreras. If you want to stay up to date on the latest in Long Beach State sports, check out our website, lbcurrent.com, and follow us on socials at lbcurrent. Thank you so much for listening. See you later. Big hearts.